I'm Roy Logan with the Logan County Herald, and I am out here at the Logan County Paramedics Association today with Steve Siltman. And Steve, why don't you give us that official title of yours?
I'm the CEO of Logan County Paramedic Association, have been since December 1st, 1999.
So good. We're glad to have you in Logan County. We're fortunate to have you. What we want to talk about today is the ambulance levy for you guys. You want to bring us up to speed on that?
Well, the county board voted in January to allow a levy boost to be put on the April 2nd ballot. And the object of this today is to get the word out to everybody, and so that everybody knows what it is. When they go into the polls, I want them to be educated enough to be able to say yes or no to this issue. Obviously, you know, our stand is that we would not be asking for a 5-cent boost if we did not think that we need it, and so the need is fairly great. And
you guys haven't had an increase in when? I mean, quite a number of years.
It was started, the ambulance referendum was started in the mid-70s, and it has never been changed or increased during that period of time. The maximum ambulance tax levy that can be generated or taken to the voters is 25 cents per $100 of property valuation. And the original tax levy here in Logan County is 5 cents. And so, first of all, that's quite a bit less than what you would normally see. The other thing is that because of the county's tax capping legislation that they currently and have had for many years, we have never been able to glean more than 3.61 cents per $100 property valuation, and it's just no longer sufficient in order to do what the county has contracted us to do.
Right, and it's just not, it's flat out not keeping up with the times and the expenses.
That's correct.
And I think we've got one of the top-notch ambulance services around. I haven't used it myself, luckily, but I've used it for family members, and it's always been a very positive, professional, quick response. You couldn't ask for anything more. You couldn't. And I think it's just vital that we keep what we've got and allow a foundation for that to expand and increase with technology. You guys, you're headed towards another direction now as far as vent patients.
Well, that's true. We belong to the Springfield Area Mobile Intensive Care project, and so we adhere to all of their rules, regulations, and standards of care. Some other agencies away from the Springfield area have moved into an arena called Tier 1 or Tier 2 or Tier 3 type delivery of care. And we're soon going to be joining the Tier 1 group, which will allow us to have transport ventilator patients on our own without having to have a nurse or an RT along. We will be able to transport patients with chest tubes in place, and we will be able to give a long list of medications that are not currently in our protocol. And so this vent situation is a biggie because there's a vent wing at Symphony here in town, and they have a number of vent patients. They need to be moved from one place to another on a non-emergent basis from their facility to a hospital or something, and we will be able to transport those patients on our own from now on.
And that allows us one more aspect of service from our local ambulance service. And we can keep those dollars in our community.
That's right.
This bit of an increase, how much is it going to impact? Say on a $100,000 home. Now this is assessed valuation, and we understand that's not a market value.
Right, that's correct.
That's considerably below that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's roughly like 40%. I don't like to attach real hardcore numbers, but...
Roy, I don't know the exact equation on that. You would have to talk to the people up at the county board or the
treasurer's office.
However, it's all I know is that the average home is based on a $100,000 home. Obviously, there's houses that are less than $100,000, more than $100,000, but they're just taking averages. And out on that average of a $100,000 home, this 5-cent boost will cost the taxpayers about $15 per year, which is a little over $1 a month. And that alone, I think, is enough for people to understand that we're not asking for the moon, and that this boost will put us in a position where we'll be able to have updated ambulances when we need them, and a subsidy that is sufficient enough to keep us healthy fiscally.
You guys have done really well financially and fiscally. You know, you've watched those budgets closely. When you start, how many years have you done this? Been a paramedic?
Well, 38 years, and soon to be 39. But
what did a rig cost back then?
Back in those days, $50,000 was the cost of a brand new box type ambulance, which is the type that we use. And today, the same thing is $130,000-ish, $135,000 roughly. And so in those days, we only ran 2,000 calls per year, and we only needed 3 ambulances. Well, now we're running 4,200 and plus calls per year, and we need 5 ambulances to do that. So not only has the cost of the ambulance gone up significantly, but we have to have more of them in order to answer all the calls. And we, you know, it's gotten to the point where currently that 3.61 cents that we can get generates $127,000 a year. And it sounds like a lot of money, and it is to me, but it's not enough to subsidize the service, and it certainly isn't enough to purchase ambulances when we need them.
Well, it's when you start looking at budgets, 125 and 127,000 really doesn't go very far at all.
No, not at all.
You know, and the whole big picture of it. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, that's the price of an ambulance is 135, but we haven't put gas in it, we haven't put tires on it, and then I'm sure it needs an oil change. You know,
insurance, and then the list goes on and on and on.
Right, and you know, we just need to understand that we've got premium and premier services, and we need to keep that.
I believe so. I believe that's the real bottom issue here, is that in order to keep this ambulance service in a position where we can have updated vehicles so that when we go on a 911 call, we can count on it. This past year, our vehicles are getting to the place where they're in the shop a lot, way more than they should be, and we can't have that. We got to have vehicles we can count on.
Right. You know, it's got to be dependable. You know, and I'm not feeling real good about something that needs jumper cables. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, and now for me, in my particular situation, my home is not at that level, and it's comfortable, and I'm happy with what I've got. But for me, I went and crushed some numbers, and it's going to be like $7. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, really? I can't buy coffee out every month. For what that, you take that and divide that $7 out, that's 50-some cents a month, you know? And I really don't think I want to be laying on the floor gasping for breath thinking, gee, Gladys, I save 50-some cents a month, you know? Hoping you guys can get there. But I think it's something that we need to have, and I really believe in it.
Rural ambulance services really do need some type of, whether it's a tax subsidy or some type of subsidization, because even though we run 4,000 some odd calls a year, that sounds like a lot, but until you get into an urban area where there's lots and lots of calls and keeping your rigs busy all day and all night long, there is no way to provide the services that we have without having some kind of boost, and that in this particular situation equates into some tax dollars. Not a lot, but some, enough to keep us in a pretty good position.
And it's not about bankrolling tax dollars,
no.
But by the same token, you guys don't have a hardcore price. I mean, it's not $10. If you got insurance, you may pay this much. If you're public aid, you may pay this. What happens about that call that you go to and they refuse services?
Well, you get nothing for it.
But yet we've.
Interestingly enough, and that's a case with fire or police or anything that's public service. There is a certain amount of your calls that you go on that in our case, we have many calls, about 60 calls per month that we have nothing coming in from it that we have to answer. And then when you're talking about Medicare, Medicaid, and so forth, it's designed, the government has designed it in such a way that they reduce the amount that we charge. They will pay a certain section or portion of it, and then we're allowed to bill the patient for the remaining amount, which is anywhere from $10 to $80. And sometimes some of these people have a supplemental income and they don't have to pay anything. But for those that don't have a supplemental income, it's still not a big charge that goes to them. The write-offs are immense with an ambulance service. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of 50% of write-offs that we have. So.
Yeah. So April 2nd is when we need
2nd.
everybody out there. It's on the ballot. We want you to vote yes. We believe in it. And this is county-wide, right?
County-wide.
Okay.
Everybody in the county has the opportunity to vote for this. We would very much appreciate people's support on this. And if you have questions or concerns or issues or something, please call. Our telephone number here, business number, is 732-2212, and Shirley or I will be more than happy to answer field your questions or concerns. And if you believe in what we're doing, please pass this on to other voters in the county that may not have been reached, because it's very important, and I can't stress it enough.
Good. So April 2nd, we want to see you at the polls, and Logan County, vote yes. Let's keep our standards.